Hi guys, today I want to quickly touch upon a topic wherein I'll be explaining why sailing in two boats, especially when it comes to photography, is not a good idea. Hi guys, welcome to Creative Zest. I know the intro was quite confusing, but I'll try to explain it in a simpler way. Quite often when people start photography, it's a general tendency for them to get pulled in all different directions, be it getting inspired by a photographer A and start doing wildlife, and the very next week getting inspired by another photographer B and start doing portraits, or probably start doing wedding photography and things like that. But eventually what happens is that they don't get good in any of them, and eventually it happens like they're just touching upon each of the genres or techniques, and then they don't end up specializing in any of them. This exactly correlates to something called as multitasking. I'll give you a very typical example. What is given in corporate world or personality development. This is basically a task which you can try it out after this video. So basically what you need to do is say pick up 4 pieces of paper and stick it on 4 walls. Probably you can put a post-it on 4 walls of your room and pick up one sentence. The bigger the better. So what you need to do is start a timer, pick up the first word in the sentence and start with the first wall, write the first word, go to the second wall, write the first word and continue till you're done with all the 4 walls. Then pick up the second word and start with the first wall and continue. Repeat this until you're done with the complete sentence. Now at the end of it, just check out how long you took to do that particular task on all the 4 walls. Also, go back and check which particular wall you wrote very legibly, and probably which wall you were able to appreciate what you have written and you were able to understand what you yourself have written. Now repeat the same activity wherein stick 4 papers on 4 different walls of your room, pick up the same sentence, but this time once you start the timer, go to the first wall, finish the first sentence, go to the second wall, write the entire sentence, go to the third wall, write the entire sentence. Now you look at how long you took to write that particular sentence on all the 4 walls, and also your legibility and your own satisfaction of how you actually wrote those sentences. This is exactly what you can relate to in photography. The more we try to touch upon different genres or different techniques in a given point of time, we are not channelizing our attention to one of them, and thereby, considering the fact that the attention is so low, the quality of output that comes out of each of these genres or techniques is very low. That's exactly a point I want to highlight in this video. If you're new to photography, or even if you're doing photography for some time, and if you personally feel that you have been distracted by too many genres or too many techniques in photography, dedicate yourself, say probably a month, 3 months, or probably even 6 months. This is something which won't work for like days or weeks, so the longer the better. Spend yourself doing 2 things on this particular genre. The first thing is get your foundation right. You might remember the bamboo tree example that I gave a few days back. So get your foundation right in that particular genre or particular technique. Next, the second point that I want you to do is practice. What you have learned in the foundation, try to implement it, improvise it, and try to create your own style, or probably try to improvise on what you've already done. So go back after the 3 months or the 6 month period and analyze yourself what you have done. The dedicated amount of time that you are channelized on that particular genre of photography will definitely make you perfect, or probably even come closer to perfect, rather than spending the 3 months or 6 months doing multiple things. This whole thought came to me with the fact that I was doing an interview with one of the British photographers. You might have seen that interview with Anup Shah on this particular channel a couple of months back. So he was here in India, he was here in Karnataka a few months back, and while I was talking to him outside of the interview, I just, as a natural tendency, I went back and asked him, did you do this when you were in that particular location? Did you see this? Did you shoot that? Did you shoot this particular thing? His straightforward answer was, no, I didn't do it. I was a bit surprised, like why he's come all the way from UK and he's spending like almost like 3 to 4 weeks of time, and he has not touched upon different key things or different things that are available in that location. Then he told me one simple sentence: the more you divert your attention on multiple things, your whole agenda or the interest on the main thing that you're doing will be lost. And that will eventually end up in compromising the quality of what you actually wanted to do. So this is exactly what I actually told you in that exercise also. If you're concentrating on one particular activity or one particular genre of photography, then it's a very good tendency that you will end up doing better in that particular genre, rather than touch upon multiple things and spoiling or giving a lower quality on all of them. So this was one of the things that I wanted to convey to you guys, especially the beginners in photography. Don't get too carried away by all the glamorous things that you see on Instagram. I know it's like very tempting to get pulled to different genres, especially when you're in the beginning stage. But when you're in the beginning phase of your photography is the right time wherein you can actually channelize your attention, your dedication, and your learning towards one particular thing and mastering that. Even in fact, like if you see a lot of Western photographers, if you see professional photographers or people who probably you can call it as successful photographers, they spend most of the time shooting a particular genre or shooting a particular subject. There are no photographers whom I can probably point out and say that they do multiple things and still they are successful. So I know a lot of award-winning photographers from India, where people have channelized things like creative aspect of nature photography. People who are being dedicated doing macro nature photography over the last like 5 or 10 years. And they do other forms of photography, but their main interest or main concentration is on one particular aspect of photography. As I told you, this is something which I wanted to suggest or bring it to you guys. Try to do that exercise, see what's the outcome. You'll be surprised at the results that you'll see. Again, spend more time on your foundation, spend more time analyzing what you want to do, what's the genre you want to do, spend more time in your future, and then try to build up on your career on top of it. Hope that was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next one.